Hello friends, let's start our workshop number 1. This workshop number 1 is on the map work. Total 9 workshops we are having to understand the map work for essential for the prelims part. The very first map is of the continents and the oceans. That's a Pacific Ocean. We see Pacific Ocean so integrated one. We have a habit of finding Pacific Ocean divided into two parts, unfolded maps. Normally we use in the classwork, one onto the Japan side, other onto the USA side. Now see here, one on the Japan side, other is on the USA side. So this is the western coast of USA, North America, or this is Eastern Pacific Ocean. On the eastern coast of Asia, we are having Western Pacific Ocean. See here, this is the directions north, south, west, east. This is the western side, that's the eastern side. Now see, I am passing on the statement. East Pacific Ocean is along with the western continental margin of North America and South America. Correct. And the east, that is the West Pacific Ocean, is on the eastern continental margins of Asia and Australasia. It's correct. When we see a map, the normal map that is there into the classwork, we find Earth is divided here for our convenience because these lands are less inhabited, less acumen, less land is there on this line. That's why we have divided here. Why didn't we divide Atlantic Ocean or the Indian Ocean? Why we divided the Pacific Ocean? Because less people were living when this concept in 1884 had come into the fray. Let's see the next one. There are different types of map projections we are having. And what are these map projections? Map projections are the systematic drawings of lines of latitudes and lines of longitude. That is as a network. The network of parallels of latitudes, meridians of longitudes. And in different ways we can fix it up. And the most important that we find is the Mercator's projection. And in Mercator's projection, one thing is clear that the temperate areas and the polar areas are shown larger than their geographical sizes. That's why European countries, the colonial powers, have accepted Mercator's projection drawn onto the tangent tables, showing their lands larger than their original sizes. As a true, you can say, the powers of the world, colonial powers of the world. That is Mercator's projection. Drawn on what? Tangent table. And tangent 90 is infinity. You cannot show polar areas properly. Distortions increase. Areas increase manifold. And this Greenland appears equal to or larger than South America, though it's 1/9 of South America. Right? So this way, there are so many of the examples of the networks of lines of latitudes and longitudes. These are called the map projections. And map projections are drawn for the entire world or a part of the world, a part of the earth. Azimuthal map projections are used where we are in need of correct direction, correct bearing, the angle between the observer and the object. So for different purposes, we use different map projections. More than 200 map projections we are having. But in, you can say, GS, we talk about 4 mainly, rather 5. Which projection is used for India and for the Asia? This is Bones projection. We'll find here Bones projection. This one. This is for India and Africa, India and Asia. And which map projection is used for the entire world, for aviation industry, for navigation routes, for winds, for ocean currents? This is the Mercator's projection. Normally, this is asked there in the interviews. Have you heard about the Mercator's projection? Yes. This is one of the conventional map projection, and this is based on tangent tables. The distance between two lines of latitudes keeps on increasing towards the poles, and the polar areas are exceptionally larger than their geographical areas. Temperate areas are also larger, and the European countries have deliberately picked up Mercator's projection to pass on a wrong message to the colonies that the countries which are ruling them are exceptionally large. But keeping this thing in mind, we can see the continents. This is Africa. See Ramaphosa, the president of Africa, he's painting Africa red for China, turning out to be, you can say, a stooge of China, a sycophant of China. Right? But look at the map, that is map of Africa there. Now see here, there are so many maps available there onto the internet where the boundary of India is not correctly marked. See here, it's not correctly marked. They do not show the area that is occupied by Pakistan within Indian territory or with China. We have the objections, that's why this is written over here. Now this is the map of Asia. Most of the rivers, Ob, Yenisei, Lena are going to Arctic. Hwangho, Yangtze-Kiang, Xi-Kiang, River Pearl going into the Pacific. And Brahmaputra and Irrawaddy and Salween and Indus and Tigris and Euphrates and Shebeli are going into the Indian Ocean. Now see, how can we divide this part? Very easily we can divide like this, that this is the Central Asia, Asiatic Russia, Eastern Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the West Asia. Right? Gradually, we will be able to understand the concept in a better way. Again, see here, the map of India is not shown properly. We always object to such kind of maps. They have written about the line of actual control and line of control along with it. Now this is here the graticule, the network of lines of latitudes and longitudes. For your convenience, let's see here. All these lines from North Pole to the South Pole on the surface, these are the longitudes, the meridians, and which are running parallel to the equator like this. These are the lines of latitudes or the parallels of latitudes, and the network is called graticule. 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 Right? Let's see one few things more. Now this is again the graticule, the lines of latitudes and longitudes, which we have drawn right at the larger angle difference. That's why it appears a bit empty. That's a graticule. Let's work a little bit on it. This is North Pole, this is the South Pole, and all these lines are the meridians from the North Pole to South Pole on the surface of Earth, And if the line is North Pole to South Pole and the passing through the center of the Earth, that is the axis of the Earth. And these are the lines of latitude. And this network is called graticule. Okay, let's move ahead a little bit. You can see the line of longitudes, North Pole to South Pole on the surface. You can see lines of latitudes running parallel to the equator. Equator is a great circle. 0-degree prime meridian that passes through 8 countries. And international date line onto the other side. That is there in the Pacific Ocean, Bachera. Earth rotates about its axis from west to east at the speed of 1680 kilometers per hour over equator. These are the longitudes and these are the latitudes. Now enough of examples are there now. Once again, whenever you have to give the locational reference of any place, it means that you have to pass on the latitudinal and longitudinal value. Like for the case of India, 8 degrees 4 minutes to 37 degrees 6 minutes lines of latitude, 8 degrees 4 minutes to 37 degrees 6 minutes north lines of latitude. This is the latitudinal expanse. Now let's the longitudinal, that is to be added with east, 68 degrees 7 minutes to 97 degrees 25 minutes east. That is the longitudinal expanse of Indian mainland. Indian Union expanse starts from 6 degrees 45 minutes north, that is the Indra point. Now these are the time zones. And India, again the map is not shown properly here. And India is 5.5 hours from the Greenwich mean time, that is the prime meridian, universal coordinated time. If there is 12 noon, we are having 5:30. Anything that is on the east, that will be ahead of the Greenwich time. Anything that is on the west, that will be behind the Greenwich time, the universal coordinated time. That's why we have made a formula: east, gain, add; west, lose, subtract. All right. Now see here. Previously, former USSR, now this is former USSR was having 11 time zones. Russia was also having 11 time zones with the period of time when Vladimir Putin had come into the power. Medvedev Dmitry had come into the power, then they have reduced it to the 9 time zones. You can see here, now Russia is having the 9 time zones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. This one will be most advanced in time. This one will be the Stalingrad will be, the Kaliningrad will be the most, you can say backward in time there. Now see here, how the questions will strike to you. Can you name the province of Myanmar that does not share the international boundary with India? This is India, Myanmar, Kachin, it has the international boundary with India. Sagaing, where the earthquake had taken place, Sagaing fault. Chin, yes. Rakhine does not hold international border with India. It's there with Bangladesh. So this way the questions will come. So here the option number 4 is there. That does not share international boundary with India. Right? Now let's see more questions over there. Can you identify this person? This is Viktor Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. And you can see him in a very depressed condition, though he turned out to be a very strong person. The way he has been treated by Russia and Donald Trump of USA, the world has sympathy with him right now. You can see the flags. The flags are having blue color and the yellow color. See here, these are the steppes, grasslands, the blue sky, and the wheat fields. The color has been picked up there from the natural landscape the country is having. Ukraine, look at the flag. Now, this Ukraine is a hotspot for the 2025. Neighboring countries, Russia, Belarus, right? And Slovakia, right? Hungary, Poland, Moldova, Romania. This question has already been exhausted. The neighboring countries, Crimean Peninsula captured in 2014, though it was given to Ukraine by Russia in 1954 by Nikita Khrushchev. The river Dnieper, Donetsk River, the Dniester River, that is somewhat there in Moldova, the country that is sharing boundary with it. So questions can be asked where the Dnieper River drains its water. That is there into the Black Sea there. This is the Strait of Kerch, and this is the Isthmus of Perikov. Several questions can be asked out of Ukraine. Neighboring country question has already been exhausted. Again, you see Poland, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, Moldova, Belarus, Russia. And you can see the Strait of Kerch, important one. Which mountainous system is in Ukraine? Carpathian Mountains. Dniester River is here, Dnieper is here, Donetsk River is here. Now this is another question there on from Asia. Though Ukraine is the part of the, you can say Eastern Europe, or we can say somewhere Central Asia plus Eastern Europe. That's why this part was covered over here. Now this is GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, already exhausted. 6 countries are there: Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia. Whether Iraq is a part of it? No. Iran? No. Jordan, Syria, Lebanon? No. Yemen? No. Question had already been asked there in the paper. This was the question there. Which one of the following countries is not a member nation of the Gulf Cooperation Council? So this is Iraq. The very clear-cut answer is here. Now let's focus on this part. For the last 5 years, 3 times question has been asked. Look at this green part. This is of Jordan. It shares the coastline of Red Sea here in Gulf of Aqaba. Syria has no coastline with Red Sea. Syria has coastline with Mediterranean Sea. Look at the order: Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel. So this way the questions will ask. Which one of the following countries does not share coastline in Persian Gulf? Iran? Yes. Iraq? Yes. Kuwait? Yes. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE. Whether Yemen is having its coastline with Persian Gulf? No. Oman, where it comes to an end Musandam Peninsula. So, बच्चे questions can be asked straight away from the maps. So each and every time you have to see Caspian Sea, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Iran, Azerbaijan, Russia, they have the coastline with it. Same is the case with the Black Sea. Whether Armenia is having any coastline with Black Sea? No. With Caspian Sea? No. Which one of the following countries is having no coastline? Russia? Yes. Azerbaijan? Yes. Georgia? Yes. Armenia? No. See here, this is the Armenia part, the purple color. Now, see here. This is Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, Suez Canal, Strait of Gubal, Gubal, Strait of Tiran, Gulf of Aqaba, and Red Sea, Tiran. So these straits can be asked. This is the Strait of Kerch, which two states and a sea connects Black Sea with the Mediterranean Sea or the Aegean Sea. This is the Bosporus Strait, right? Marmara Sea and the Dardanelles. The question can be asked there, Bachera. Very clear map is over here. You can see Cyprus, Syria, and you can see the Gaza Strip and West Bank, Golan Heights. Which city is the most northerly? Ankara, Damascus, Amman, Tehran. Ankara is the northernmost. So questions can be asked like this, but the things will be very broad in terms of coverage. They are not going to ask very small cities like Chabahar, Bushehr, where this eruption had taken place of a rocket with fuel brought by China onto the coast of Iran. The previous such kind of explosion had taken place in Lebanon, Beirut. Right, Vashik? So there are so many of the maps. Each time you have to see the coastlines, the rivers draining into. Now this is the Tigris and Euphrates, two rivers draining into Persian Gulf, but they join with each other, and the river is called Shat al-Arab. Plenty of questions can be framed from here. River Nile is going like this, making Arcuate Delta in Mediterranean Sea. In which water body River Nile drains its water? This is the Mediterranean Sea. It runs south to north. So many maps which can be picked up there from your atlas and can be studied. So this Middle East part, West Asia part is one such important. Southeast Asia is the second one. Clear-cut boundaries have been marked over here. So many questions can be framed. Here also. You can see the Red Sea, the second stage of Wilson cycle. Identical coast on both sides. And the Gulf of Aden. Here also, this is the South China Sea, Philippines, Taiwan, Borneo, that is a combination of the three, and the Vietnam. You can see here the regional players: Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Taiwan, Philippines, China, regional players. So many questions can be asked from here. That is Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. See a close look of this Kamchatka Peninsula. So many volcanic eruptions, the live volcanoes are there, potential sites are there. It's part of Pacific Ring of Fire. Now this is the portion, the Sinai Peninsula, that connects Asia and Africa. That's a closer look of Sinai Peninsula. Arcuate Delta of River Nile. Gulf of Aqaba, Gulf of Suez, and that's the Suez Canal. These are the Lake, Bitter Lake and the Timsa lakes. Same way, a closer look of Panama Canal. Here, this is Panama Canal and the Suez Canal. Suez Canal connects Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. Panama Canal connects Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. The Gulf of Panama and the Gulf of Darien. Gulf of Darien on this side, Gulf of Panama on this side. That is the Darien Gap, the donkey route. Now here you can see, this is Central Siberian Plateau, this is Ural Mountains, segregating the two continents, the Europe and Asia, and in between we have the West Siberian Plains. Question can be asked like this. See here, the snowbound plains flanked by the Ural Mountains in the west and the Central Siberian Plateau in the east, that is the same that we have discussed. See here, this one, West Siberian Plains. Right, Pache? So this way we have to fix it up. One of the following island groups demarcates the eastern boundary of the Sea of Okhotsk, that is the Kuril Islands. Sea of Japan, the Japanese archipelago. East China Sea, the Ryukyu Islands. So this way, plenty of maps can be fixed up. That's the map of Asia, the physiography. You can see the Tibetan Plateau, Tarim Basin, Taklamakan, Zungarin Basin. The question is this, name the island that separates the Sea of Okhotsk and Sea of Japan. Which island is there? See here. This is Sea of Okhotsk and Sea of Japan. That is the Sakhalin Island, separating the two water bodies. Now see here, one of the following archipelagos does not surround the South China Sea. Philippines does, Taiwan also, Borneo, Ryukyu flanks East China Sea, not the South China Sea. That's a pretty important question that can be asked. Can you see this black spot where nuclear testing takes place? And this is the LOPNUR, LOPNUR. Nuclear testing of China that takes place in Taklamakan in Tarim Basin. One of the mountainous systems is situated between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. Which one is this? Between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. It's Caucasus Mountains. See, the option is over there. Elburz is a part of Iran. Ural divides Asia and Europe. Zagros is a part of Iran. And Caucasus mountain systems is in between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. You can see here that's the Caucasus mountains. So these are all maps which will be tagged with this PPT, with this video on the social media that you can see it yourself. So many of the maps are, this is a correct map, beautiful map over there. This is the Arctic Circle, that is the international dateline that goes on. This is the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer passes through 8 countries of Asia. Scout BMI. This is Saudi Arabia, this is China, this is Oman, this is UAE, this is Taiwan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and India. Now, this is the last question. A set of two countries does not share international boundary with China. It's a difficult one. See the previous map. That's China. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Tajikistan, they share boundaries with China. China shares boundaries with 14 countries, but Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, they do not. So now see the option. Which one is there? Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan is the option over there. So this way, we are having total 9 workshops. You'll be able to learn plenty of questions. Most probably, one of the 2 questions will come into the exam also there. Thank you, Bachi.